Alright, good morning guys from Bangkok. Today we're going to take a journey by this train right here. We're going to go all the way up to Kanchantaburi and past. We're going to go all the way to the end of the line. We're going to take a special excursion train. And this is it's a special train that leaves from Hua Lamphong. Normally when you go to Kanchantaburi you leave from Thonburi. But this special excursion train does a few other things where you leave from here at Hua Lamphong station and you go up to Nakhon Prathom Chedi, and then you go to the bridge over the River Kwai, and then you go all the way up to Sai Nam Tok Yai, or whatever it's called, all the way at the very, very end of the line. So I'm excited for this train. So join me and let's see what it looks like. So we've been hearing a lot the last few months that Hua Lamphong is going to be closed, but it still is open. I don't know, it's really confusing. They've had an event that's saying the station is closed and then it stays open and everything else. So this is the train and it goes two ways. It goes to Kanchantaburi and it will split at Nam Laduk station, and the other one will go south to Hua Hin. So we're going to jump on this train and have a good day. On the special excursion train, you have the guy here that's acting like a little bit of a tour guide. He's giving some information out in Thai. He's right now talking about the Nakhon Prathom Chedi. Alright, so we're here at Nakhon Prathom station. So the train stops and lets everybody off. And there's a market and the big Chedi we can go see. Okay, so you can see the Nakhon Prathom Chedi is right there. And it's the largest Buddhist monument in the world. I've done a couple of videos from it, so you can see them in my playlist. I did the night market, and then I went and did a video specifically about the Chedi. And right around the station they have a little market here set up so you can get some food. So you have 40 minutes at Nakhon Prathom station to do shopping for some food or do a little sightseeing up at the Chedi. And it's the normal food that you'll see for breakfast. You'll see the meat on a stick, you'll see the jope, you'll see the noodles. Here's some salapao. And a lot of people out and about. And all the announcements on the intercom will be in Thai, so you'll have to do your best to figure out what's going on. So a lot of the normal stuff you see, the meat on a stick. Over here they have some more meat on the stick, the chicken, the pork. They have some beef, and they'll barbecue, then you eat it with some sticky rice. And the little market is very busy. You got cars, motorcycles, people going around. So you got to be mindful of what's going on here. So here they're roasting some whole chickens. You got the prep station over here to get some more ready to go. Just has the charcoal. They're cooking it right up here. So right outside of the little market near the train station, here's kind of looking into the part of the town of Nakhon Prathom. So they have a canal here, and then they have some streets on each side of the canal with shops and everything set up. And then you can just keep on walking right up into the Chedi. You can see the chaotic street scene here. And everybody set up on the sidewalks, selling pretty much everything. Cars, motorcycles, everything going around. And here we're getting into some of the stuff for the blessings, so you can buy some flowers and all that and take it up to the temple. This is kind of random. Guy here with the big jukebox carrying it around. And then you have another little side soy over here that has some more food. Okay, so on this side of the Chedi, they have a pretty nice temple with the Buddha standing there. There'll be a lot of people up there making merit. And when you come here, remember this is a temple, so make sure you dress appropriately. So no short skirts, no sleeveless stuff, or no shoulderless dresses. Okay, so here is the standing Buddha. And they put some netting up there to keep the birds out of there. You can see everybody over here making merit. And a guy that's getting set up over here to start playing the little xylophone and the drum. And over here, this is where you can buy all of your supplies if you want to buy the flowers and the joe sticks, and you can light the little incense, the little joe sticks, and do some praying. So a busy place, a lot of people out here this morning. Okay, it looks like what they're going to do is some of the ladies are dressed up in the traditional Thai clothes, and somebody probably made a donation, so people make donations and then the dancers will go and do something. So if somebody came here and prayed and then they made some money or they did something that was very successful, they'll come back to the temple and they'll make a donation, and these people will do a little dance, and it's a way of making merit after to say thank you. Too bad we're not going to have enough time to watch the little show there, but they're doing some chanting and playing the music. Kind of cool. So anyway, let's go back. The train's getting ready to leave, so let's walk back through that market and then catch the train to our next stop. All right, so the train is 120 baht, and that's round trip, so that's about $4. And you can get in an AC car, which is twice as much. It's 240 baht. But the third class is the cheapest, and it all gets there at the same time. You just have some like straight benches. It's not as comfortable. Our train's back, so we're getting ready to get back on and go to our next stop. Okay, so our next stop here is the River Kwai Bridge. So the train comes in from this direction, and then whenever we leave here, we'll go over the bridge that's right here in front of us. And this is the thing that's most famous here in Kanchantaburi. Okay, so here is the bridge. It has two bombs right here at the entrance, and then you can see it over here. Now I made 2 videos that had this in it. One of them was the reenactment, and they're in my my Kanchantaburi playlist. And then I did the one where I went all the way up to 3 Pagoda Pass, and we talked about this also. So you can see the 2 middle spans that are like the square on the top. Those were damaged by the bombing. And then there's a Chinese temple right across the river. And there used to be another bridge that was built over here that was a wooden bridge, and the Japanese used it to move supplies across the bridge while they were building this railroad. But this is one of the main reasons why people come here, and this was built, you know, by the forced labor of the POWs. And this bridge was actually built originally in Indonesia. They disassembled it. The Japanese tried to basically recycle everything. They were short of supplies. So they tore this bridge apart and then they shipped it over here and then they built it over this. And this was the railroad that linked from the Bladug Junction. They started over there in 1942, and then they started building in Burma, and they connected the two railroads. And it was to supply the Japanese troops in Burma to cut off the supplies into China, because the Japanese were fighting in China and the British were supplying their forces up there to fight against the Japanese. So this was a vital part of the railroad. And then around the bridge, they have little souvenir shops and snacks. Right here you can see the snacks, and over here's souvenirs. And they have a bunch more up in these little streets, as well as there's a war museum over here also. And then there's another one, we keep going that way, that goes over to the war cemetery, which if you're in Kanchantaburi, that's a must stop. All right, so let's walk across the bridge. We stop here for 25 minutes, and normally you can walk across this bridge at any time. And it's kind of fun to walk across the bridge and go over to that Chinese temple. But you can walk across the bridge, and if a train comes, they have some little places to step off to the side and let the train go in front of you. Yeah, and you can see they have places to walk right here, and then they have the little platforms for not only for pictures, but that's for standing and getting out of the way if the train comes. Okay, so the bridge is pretty crowded today. A lot of people that are on this special excursion train. But here's that Chinese temple, and this is, I guess, about 10 or so years old. And that's the Chinese goddess Guanyin. Looks like they're doing something to it. And you can see the river here. And you can take some boats on this river if you ever come up here. It's kind of a fun little thing. They actually have party boats up here too, that people come up from Bangkok and they play music and everybody has a good time. And then you have some restaurants here. And then on the other side of the bridge, you can see they got some restaurants over there. And this right here, this kind of little park, that's where they had it set up for the stage when we came up here in December, where they did the reenactment. And then that pier that's right over there, that's the War Museum, the Jirth War Museum. And that's where the old railroad line, the second one, went across the bridge right here, or across the river. So it went right over there to kind of over here, right around this prisoner of war camp. And that was just a wooden bridge, and they used it to ferry supplies across. But you can see this is a pretty neat area. I'd say check out my playlist that's Kanchantaburi if you want to see some of the temples and some of the other stuff. The reenactment was really fun. This is a pretty nice view of the bridge over here. So this is the third class seating on this train. It's just some bench seats and they face towards each other. So you'll be facing backwards one part of the trip, and then you'll be facing forward the other side. Because they just go backwards. They drive the train straight there and then they just go straight back. There's an engine on each side. All right, so the conductor let me open the back door, and I'm gonna be able to film going over the bridge from the back of the train. Everybody running over to get pictures taken with the train. See, everybody can jump on the little platforms to get out of the way. Pretty nice view from the back of the train. It's going about 5 kilometers an hour or so. It's not going super fast, but mainly just for safety, because maybe somebody's distracted with pictures. Yeah, so this is pretty fun, sticking right out of the back of the train. The conductor over here, he's to the right, and he was actually making videos of the bridge crossing. All right, and just like that, we're pretty much across the bridge. One last look at Kanchantaburi and the river. And the Chinese temple on this side. Okay, so now we're off to our next stop. See, narrow, where they cut the first rock to put the railroad. They got a temple up on the hill. Alright, so the part of the whole trip I've been waiting for is this Tham Bridge. And this is a really cool part of the Death Railway. And I put it in the video that I did when I went all the way to Three Pagoda Pass. I walked across this bridge and I talked about it. Alright, so we're going out over it. Now this was the most difficult part of the whole railway, but they completed this bridge in 17 days, if I remember right. And it's right here along the edge of this, the river. And they built it and then they tested it, and the first train went off of the bridge into the water. So it killed everybody that was on board of the train. And you can walk across it. It has the little piece of metal in the middle, and it's quite intense. I mean, because you have a pretty big drop in a few places. And you can see the solid rock right there. Now they have it set up to where there's hotels and cabins and stuff you can rent. So the conditions are much different than when the POWs were building this. In this railway, there was approximately 100,000 or so. They have no idea how many of the forced workers from, you know, Malaysia, Singapore, India, Bangladesh, all of those countries. They don't know how many of those people died, but they estimate 100,000 or so. And then I believe there was like 36,000 of the POWs, the people from New Zealand, Scotland, England, the Dutch, some Americans, the British. So they were killed or they died while building it. Most of them to like malnutrition and disease from the jungle. This is pretty cool. We're going maybe 5 kilometers an hour again over this bridge. And then there's a cave. This was the headquarters for the Japanese army. So they have a cave over here that has a Buddha and stuff inside of it. The cicadas are going in full throat. Okay, and then there's one more section of this bridge. You can see the jungle canopy up there. We're going really, really slow. That's because we're right here by the entrance to the cave. I don't want to run somebody over that comes out of the cave. Like that piece of the rock is starting to separate from the cliff. If that goes, it's going to destroy the tracks right there. see the bridge back over the first part we crossed. And some people here get a treat of watching the train go by. And then here's a cave. It's got a pretty nice Buddha in it. Guys, so as you can see, we finally made it all the way up here to the end of the line. The train is right behind me. So this is the part where the train usually doesn't come. We came all the way up to Nam Tok Sayok Noi, which is the little waterfall of Sayok. So the train's behind me. We're gonna have about 3 hours here, and we'll be able to eat some lunch and enjoy the waterfall. So we'll do that, and then we'll get back on the train and do everything in reverse. And this is the piece of metal at the end of the line. They're just using it to dry some tamarind on the top of it. And this old engine is just sitting up here, 702. So if anybody's a train spotter, they probably know a little bit about this old train. And it's just now something to take pictures of, right by the waterfall. All right, so here is the waterfall. It's pretty weak right now. It's dry season, so there's not a whole lot of water. So the next month or so it should start raining, and this will be really rocking and going. But right now it's just basically a little creek, and the Thais love to come up here and they will picnic, and you can order food from right underneath the trees and people will bring it out to you. So they have the whole family that will come, and they just absolutely love doing this. This is such a huge part of Thai culture. All right guys, so that finishes up our video. We started up early this morning at 6:30 and we left Bangkok on the train. And we got to go and see the largest jetty, and we saw the bridge. Then we took the slow bridge, or the slow ride over the old, I can't remember the name of it now, Kasam or whatever. And we got to see some other stuff. Really a good time. I was a little disappointed we didn't stop at Hellfire Pass and see kind of the hand drilled holes and stuff like that. But that gives me something to do another time. So anyway, we're gonna relax and we're gonna spend the next couple hours up here underneath these trees, eat some food, and then I'm just gonna enjoy the ride on the train back. The scenery is beautiful and it's a good time. So I would definitely recommend it for anybody that wants to come and do something different. Get on the special excursion train. All right, so guys, remember, if you like my content, click the like button and subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed, and share with your friends. And if you want to do it, or if you like what you've seen, leave me a comment. Or if you want me to do something different, tell me in a comment also down below. And as always, guys, remember, life is a journey. So enjoy. Okay, so on the way back from the waterfall going towards Bangkok, they give us a little bit more than a half an hour to stop and come over to the cemetery and the war museum. So I'm over here in the cemetery, and I did include this in one of my prior videos, and it's in my Kanchantaburi playlist, where I talk about the number of people that are buried here. There's a lot of Dutch, A lot of English. And this is just one of several. There's another cemetery nearby. That's some more of the POWs. And then there's a Chinese cemetery also over here.